Hello everyone, we're about to tackle a topic that can feel, a little complicated, but it's so important for every single Canadian taxpayer. We're talking about medical expenses. Let's decode them together.
Welcome. We are diving straight into Canadian tax returns today, and we're going to focus on a section that holds some serious potential for savings: medical expenses.
It's that nagging question, right? The one that hits you every tax season. Did I miss something? Could I have gotten a bigger refund? Well, when it comes to all those medical costs, from prescriptions to dental work to glasses, there's a really good chance you might be leaving money on the table without even knowing it.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll cover the 3 golden rules you absolutely have to know. Then, we'll jump into the specific equipment and services you can actually claim. After that, we'll clear up some really common mistakes before we tackle that tricky "it depends" category. Right, before we get into the nitty-gritty of what you can and can't claim, we have to talk about these 3 golden rules. Seriously, think of these as the foundation for every single medical expense claim you make. If you get these right, you've already won half the battle.
So our first golden rule is all about timing, and you'll be happy to know it's probably a lot more flexible than you think.
Get this, you are not locked into the calendar year. Not at all. You can pick any 12-month period you want as long as it ends in the tax year you're filing for. So let's say you had some major dental work done between, October 2023 and April 2024. You can bundle all of those costs together and claim them on your 2024 return. This is fantastic because it lets you group your biggest expenses to get the maximum tax credit. The only catch? You just can't claim the same expense twice. Simple as that.
Okay, next up is rule number 2. And this one answers a really important question. Whose expenses can I actually claim on my return?
This one is huge. You can actually pull together medical expenses for yourself, your spouse or partner, and your kids who are under 18. Now, here's a little pro tip for you. It's almost always a better idea for the partner with the lower net income to claim all the medical expenses. Why? Because this strategy can seriously boost the size of your tax credit, since the credit itself is designed to give more relief to folks with lower incomes.
And that brings us to our third and final golden rule. And honestly, this one is absolutely critical to get right.
Let's be crystal clear on this. You can only claim the amount you actually paid out of your own pocket. So if your private health insurance covered 80% of a $500 dental bill, you can only claim the 20% that you had to pay. In that case, that's $100. You can't claim the full $500. It's only your portion that counts.
All right, with the rules locked down, let's get to the fun stuff, the things you can actually claim. We'll start with our first category, physical equipment. This covers a huge range of things, from items you can just go out and buy to more specialized devices that need a doctor's okay.
So let's start with the easy ones. The Canada Revenue Agency gets that some medical needs are just, obvious. You don't need a doctor's note for them. These are typically items that help you get around and handle the basics of daily life.
What's so great about this list is just how simple it is. Things like wheelchairs, crutches, an artificial limb, or maybe a brace for your arm or leg. These are all straightforward claims. If you needed it and you paid for it, you can claim it. No prescription needed for these specific items.
Now, this is where the world of eligible expenses really opens up. Think of a prescription as the official stamp that proves an item isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a medical necessity. And this, my friends, is why keeping good records is so important. Just look at this list. Your eyeglasses, your contact lenses, even prescription sunglasses, all claimable, as long as you have that prescription from your optometrist. Same goes for hearing aids. A CPAP machine for sleep apnea? You bet, with a prescription. A wig is even eligible if it's needed because of hair loss from a disease or a medical treatment. And even things like grab bars for the bathroom become eligible if a doctor prescribes them for someone with a severe mobility issue. That prescription is the golden ticket.
Okay, so we've covered the things you can buy. Now let's shift gears and talk about the services that are done for you. The treatments, the procedures, and the plans that make up a massive chunk of our medical spending.
This slide hits on some of the biggest ticket items out there. Dental services. We're talking cleanings, fillings, even braces are all eligible. Laser eye surgery? Yep. An ambulance ride? For sure. But here's the one that so many people completely forget about: the premiums you personally pay for your private health plan. If that money is coming out of your pocket, it is absolutely a claimable medical expense.
And now for a super important section.
Knowing what you can't claim is just as important as knowing what you can. It can save you a ton of headaches later on. The CRA has drawn some very clear lines in the sand, and, some of them might surprise you. Let's clear up that confusion.
This is a fantastic way to see the difference. You can claim drugs your doctor prescribed, but not the bottle of aspirin or cold medicine you grabbed off the shelf. You can claim the extra cost of gluten-free food if you have celiac disease and a doctor's certification, but you can't claim organic food or vitamins. Those are seen as lifestyle choices. A wig for medical hair loss is in, but cosmetic hair plugs are out. And cosmetic surgery is only eligible if it's medically necessary, like reconstruction after an injury, not for things like teeth whitening.
Let's look at a few more of these tricky ones. You can claim the cost of diapers or briefs for incontinence, but not a diaper delivery service. See the difference? The CRA allows the product, but not the convenience service. A very specific blood coagulation monitor is eligible, but a standard blood pressure monitor you buy at the pharmacy is not. It's considered more of a general wellness device. And here's a huge one. You can claim premiums paid to a private health plan, like one from your work, but you absolutely cannot claim your gym membership or the provincial health premiums taken off your paycheck.
And that brings us to our final section, the "it depends" category. These are for expenses that aren't a simple yes or no. For these claims, you have to meet a very specific set of criteria. So let's break down the most common one, travel for medical care.
So you can't just claim your drive to a specialist across town. The rules are strict. First, the trip has to be at least 40 kilometers one way. Second, the medical treatment you need has to be unavailable where you live. If you check both those boxes, you can claim your transportation costs. And if the trip is over 80 kilometers one way, you can also start claiming things like accommodation and meals. The key here, as always, is to keep every single receipt.
Okay, let's wrap this all up. What are the most important things to take away from all this? Number 1, keep your documents. Receipts and prescriptions are non-negotiable. Number 2, use that flexible 12-month window to your advantage. Bundle those big expenses. Number 3, remember that a doctor's prescription is the magic key that makes dozens of items eligible. And finally, number 4, while this is a great guide, the official CRA website is always the ultimate source of truth. When in doubt, check it out. So, we've gone through the rules, the equipment, the services, and all the common pitfalls. The real question to leave you with is this. Now that you're armed with all this knowledge, what expenses are you going to start tracking more carefully this year? Because thinking about it now could make a very real difference when tax time rolls around.